Good morning, or afternoon, evening, whatever. The name is Ash. Hello to all humans and beyond. Sorry, today's kind of a rough episode. The topic is healing starts at home. As we've known, if you've been following my channel for a little while, or at all, constant theme is, I speak from lessons. I speak from what I learn. I do my best not to talk out my ass, although it does happen from time to time. It's just a thing. So typically when I come to you with a lesson, it's either one that I'm learning currently, or one that I've already learned and witnessed a little bit. So at least I kind of know what I'm talking about. But truth is, nobody really knows. That's the great wonders of life. Let's get on topic though. After I smudge myself a bit. Burn some smudgy. Whoops. Don't burn me. I just said don't burn me. Ow. Fuck. Healing starts at home. One of the lessons I've learned. In fact, I'm kind of on the fence about doing this episode since it's still kind of raw. But I like to do them when it's still fresh in my head. Healing starts from home because that's basically where everything starts. In general. You want to go back to the root of everything. Like, if you're here on my channel, it's because you're growing. It's because you want to grow. Or you just think I'm pretty. I don't know. Hopefully, you find me inspiring, or you just like my silly words, whatever you're here for. Hopefully, you're on the path to quote-unquote evolving. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because change is constant, and people who don't change, well, nothing changes. So if you're truly bothered by your life, or bothered by something you do, or just bothered by something in your life or life itself, and you're just sitting there wondering, why are things this way? Why am I this way? And again, I get it. It's easy to be like, oh, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. I've been feeling a lot of that, and I've been working on it. But I had a pretty big epiphany this morning, / the last couple of days. So, again, I'm not trying to vent. And if it starts becoming a vent, I'll reel my energy back and kind of pull it back. It's just kind of hard to still talk to without being a little aggro. My dad was overbearing. My mother was detached. Currently in my life, oh no, let's go back to the past a little bit. My older sister had to be a mother because my mother was detached and didn't want to be a mother. Not to just me. Although it did feel like that because, well, we'll go into that in a second. So my mom decided at the age of 11 that she was lesbian. Again, I'm not here. I don't bash on people. You do you, boo. Whether you believe you're gay, born gay, or you decide you're gay, doesn't fucking matter. That's not the point. You do whatever makes you feel happy. If you believe you're born gay, then fuck it, hey man. Science proves it. I mean, I can't disprove it. Whatever. That's not what we're here for. All I know is, as a child, my mom cheated on my dad with a lady. And then decided that she was... Either decided she was lesbian or discovered she was lesbian. I don't know. It's a little late after you have 3 kids, though. It's kind of a messed up time. Whatever. And me being, a boy, the only boy, I'm the middle child and I'm the only male. I have a feeling that I reminded her of my dad. And she hated my dad. They only got married because they had a kid. She already had 1 kid. He knocked her up and had me. So then they got married. And then they had a 3rd kid, or technically a 2nd kid. All of us were accidents. All of us were bastards. Accidental bastards. That made me a little sad inside. Well, anyways, moving forward. So my mom hated my dad. And me being the son, I was essentially a reflection of that. So my mom always had a super detached personality. I remember even telling her as a kid one day I was super pissed. And I told her, I'm like, you know what, I don't love you, Mom. She goes, okay. And that was it. No conversation, no nothing, just, okay. My dad, on the other hand, was super overbearing. A super control freak. Got so bad to the point, like, I never talked to him and he just can't figure out why. But, like this one example, one day, I'm just sitting there eating breakfast. Like, I'm sitting there eating a bowl of cereal or something, and my dad's sitting there drinking a cup of coffee, and he's like, so are you gonna vote? I was like, no. That was it. No, I'm good. Well, that's fine. You would vote wrong anyways. You don't know what you're doing. I'm just like, dude, I'm just eating breakfast. Like, can't I just eat food? That is my entire life. My entire childhood. Sir. I know it's nice outside, but like, why do you gotta mow right now? I'll just talk over it as it gets louder. Go the other way. Anyways. So my dad was overbearing to the point I couldn't even make decisions myself. I was a bubble baby, if you could tell. Like I've said before, I've had a lot of immune system issues growing up. So they had to be overprotective to keep me alive. However, it didn't stop. It became detrimental to the point of I couldn't make choices for myself. I couldn't do anything. Like the second I made a choice, it was wrong, always. It was always wrong. Example, I'm a 10-year-old kid, right? I know I've said this one a few times. My dad didn't feel like getting out of the car, so he sends me in to go get food. We go into a gas station, he's like, hey, go get us some food. I run in, I grab candy and like a soda or something. I get in the car, instantly screams at me. This isn't food! I told you food! This is not food! Now I'm gonna sit here and eat it in front of you. I'm a 10-year-old kid, dude. So you sit there and think about it and you're like, I'm afraid to move forward, I'm afraid to make choices, I'm afraid to let people get close to me, but at the same time, I really want to be seen. It's like, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. So I have a detached mother, and as we know, this is my personal opinion. I don't have science to back it up, alright? There is some psychology behind it. When a mom or a dad leaves a hole in a child's life, they tend to try to fill it any way they can. That's why we have women or men who whore around, or are sluts, as they say. You know, they are looking for validation for the opposite gender. So a guy who's a womanizer, or a female who sleeps around, possibly is looking for that love that they got from their family, right? Or the love they didn't get. So then you have parents and children of the same sex. If, say for me, being abused by my dad or whatever, I get emotionally confused, I might decide or be influenced to date men. Kind of thing. Because I know there's a theory that you date your parents in the sense of you date someone who's relative or kind of like your parents because of the mental, the way we're programmed. So if that's the case, then I believe it's possible that we can get confused too, and that's some of the gay community is just trauma. Because we're just, I say we. I believe in the LGBTQ. I'm even bi myself. I consider myself bi. But I mean, that's a thing. Like, if you get neglected by one specific parent or both, it causes many issues. If you get neglected by both parents, then you end up becoming a fucking psycho. And that's where we get murderers and stuff like that. A lot of the time. It doesn't always have to be both parents. Again, it could be one of those womanizers who turns into a murderer, Or the women who, trying to sleep with someone, get the love from their dad, ends up getting murdered. Or sometimes they're the murderers, who knows. Doesn't have to be gender specific. I'm just playing off some of the stereotypes. Point is, 90% of what's wrong with us comes from our home, where it all started. Now look at yourself and be like, what kind of life did I have as a child? Some of us don't remember. A lot of us block it out. But I mean, it's like, it's clear and evident. I have had so many women issues in my life just because I want to be validated. Because I never really felt like I had a mom. You know? I'm looking for that love. And I keep picking women who do not choose me. Someone who abandons me. Kind of like my mom. I continuously choose women like my mom. Women who seem cool on the surface and then they ghost you or lie to you or abandon you. And same thing with my dad. I get friends who are bullies. And again, it doesn't have to just be romantic. It's in your life in general. It's not specifically romantic. It's the people in your life and your family reflect who you decide to be around in the future. My mom, around, I don't remember, probably 13, 14. No, it was 12. Around 12 to 13. Right after the divorce, when my mom cheated on my dad, she moved into the house of the girlfriend, or the partner. They couldn't get married yet, so they were dating. And they were in the middle of illegal custody. My dad was trying to fight for rights. Custody. That's what it was. I think I just said that. Anyways, custody. I was trying to fight for custody. Full custody. And, I was sleeping on a couch. Me and my younger sister were sleeping in a couch. In a house of 7 people. So we told him that. It wasn't deemed okay. So she legally had to get an apartment. So she got herself an apartment, but then she left us there. So she would be gone all day, every day, over at her girlfriend's house, while we, 3 children, the oldest one being 17, 18, got locked in the house all day. If we weren't at school, we were at home. We weren't allowed to go out, we weren't allowed to play the games that were in the house. Even though my mom wasn't there, it was super controlling. We couldn't play video games, we couldn't watch TV. It's like we were supposed to just sit in the house and be punished for being kids. It almost felt like, wow. That was the first time that surfaced. It was like we were being punished. So my sister, my older sister, had to take the role of mother. And she started mothering us, taking care of us. She is now 40, almost. She has not stopped. She does not stop. She still treats me like a kid. Like that little Adam. So then you think about it, and then I look at the people I've had in my life. My best friend at the UPS store was a liar, a bully, controlling. He wanted me to do everything his way, because he thought it was best. A narcissist. Kind of like my dad. Super controlling. His way is the way. Because even when my friend would give me an answer, I would Google check it, and he's like, what, my answer's not good enough? I'm like, no, it's wrong. He said, no, it's not. I'd look it up and show him the phone and be like, it's wrong. Try again. And he would just refuse. He used to get mad at me because I wouldn't accept his answers. It's like, I know you're wrong. Why would I? Alright. Again, I'm not mocking people. I'm not trying to pull that back. It's not venting time. It's understanding the shit that's going on inside of you being reflected outside. For instance, the most recent people I've tried to date, I've actually tried again recently to give out my number and stuff, and it's more so just trying kind of everything and not letting the past, I don't know, it's this weird fence of seeing the red flags but not letting the past take over. So even though these people kind of been getting red flags, I still tried anyways. Lo and behold, I got hurt. Just go figure. One person gave me her number and then ghosted me, and then was having some issues, so I reached out one more time, ghosted me again. Another lady flirting with me, but never really followed through. Just kind of flirted, just kind of tickled the throat, pretty much. Why did that come out? I guess we're gonna use sex euphemisms. Instead of no, I'm just gonna stop right there. So, basically, it was just enough to sprinkle some seasoning and say, ooh look, I'm breadcrumbing you. Breadcrumbing. And I never really followed through. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I really don't care. I'm kind of getting the flags and saying this person's not serious. She's 23 anyways, it can't be that serious. Well, I finally gave her my number. Nothing. And it's because a place I go to regularly, like, I know her. I'm familiar with her. I had to go back in 4 or 5 days later, still no text. She wouldn't talk to me, didn't look at me. Just kind of gave me a half-assed, oh hey, I'm safe. Okay. And that's the funny thing is she openly took my number. She's like, yes, give it to me. A week later, it's like, oh, okay. So I'm continuing to go for these, not just women, people who are emotionally unavailable. Like I said, my friend, I opened up to him, and he used it against me. He bullied me. He lied to me. Kind of like my dad. My dad was the same way. He would sit there, I remember specifically, there was one really bad time at middle school where it wasn't even my fault. Long story, I'm not going to get into it. But basically something happened and pinned it on me. And then my dad screamed at me and blamed me for all the shit that was my fault. So I became suicidal. I was 11, 12 years old. I was planning suicide. So instead of trying to fix it, my dad sat there and screamed at me until 3 o'clock in the morning, telling me he was going to check me into a mental institution unless I told him what was wrong. Like, these guys just controlling. I mean, I could sit here and tell you sad story after sad story, But it's seeing these patterns is the thing from my childhood. My younger sister thinks I'm an idiot. My older sister is trying to control me. My dad wants to be my best friend without having to be a father. My mom doesn't even want to be in my life. And then you look at that and you're like, huh. So that's why I keep picking up people who don't want to be in my life. It's like I try to make friends, but the people I'm initiating with are reflections of my family, and it pisses me off so much. Because people are people, no matter what. It's just people. People are people. And it feels bad trying, but it kind of helps you understand. Immensely. Seriously. Like, because then the only thing we can do is fix these patterns. Or correct them. Not like it's broken, but it's adjusting. Let's go with that. I don't want to make it sound like you're broken or it's broken. It's just, you know what? I want friends who want to choose me. Again, this is sad Adam, I'm venting. But it's true, I haven't had friends that reach out to me. Anytime I meet a friend, I always have to start the conversation. I always have to invite myself out. I have had a history of choosing people who don't want to choose me. And then ironically, going back to them. Even though they didn't choose me in the first place. It's like, oh, I remember this person and I had feelings for them. But they didn't choose you. Well, that's fine, I'll still talk to them and see if they're okay. And then you don't get a reply, it's like, oh yeah. They didn't choose me in the first place, why would they choose me now? Why are we sitting here beating ourselves up and destroying ourselves? Because we don't recognize the patterns. Just awareness. Like I said, the number one thing, awareness. Go back, check awareness, and be aware of the people in your life. I think I'm starting to kind of just loop my message now. I feel like some of these messages normally have to be like 30, 40 minutes to be good. But if it's just a quick little 20-minute message, it's not a big deal. Let me see if there's anything else. It's basically an algorithm. It's one long algorithm. It's like the Pythagorean theorem, A plus B equals C. Sometimes it is that simple. People want to treat humans like this big, complex Rubik's Cube, and we have therapists and stuff like that, and you can go to therapy for years and never get as deep as I'm getting. That's why I don't believe I need therapy, but that's just me. If you believe... Off. Thank you. I'm not saying therapy's bad, I just don't believe it. I need it because I'm therapizing myself. I have never gotten this deep with a psychiatrist or a therapist. Only though, the issue is a therapist can only meet you where you're willing to meet them. If you're not willing to be open and vulnerable, that's the catch-22 there. Anyways, that was a random tangent. Where was I going with that? The fucking car distracted me. Spirit, bring it back. What was I saying? If you're okay with living the life you are, that's up to you. If you're comfortable, that's fine. I'm not saying you're bad or you're broken or there's something wrong with you for living the life you are. It's just, take a good look at it and be like, am I happy? Am I really happy? Or did I just settle? That's one of the other patterns I've noticed. Like, God, dude, grounding my energy. It feels like Minecraft, and I tapped into a reserve of diamonds. And the more you pull, but instead of diamonds, it's a lot of trauma and... Because... fuck, I already forgot what I was saying. It's just... my head's starting to hurt. Realizing that spawned a bunch of different things. Like, it's linking... It's the missing link I was missing. If you're unhappy... Oh, that's what I was saying. Another pattern was, after years and years and years of rejection of what I want, like say I have this idea of the perfect girl, but years and years and years I can't find this perfect girl, so I give up and I just settle. I settle for the next best thing. Someone who makes me feel kind of close, you know? And that's what my dad did. He settled. His first wife, horrible. Second wife, even worse. I would say she's the right hand of the devil, or is the devil, but I met the devil. He ain't even that bad. So it's like everything you think about. For instance, one of the things that just popped up in my head was me constantly saying, no, she sucks, Dad. I was trying to be open with her. Be like, Dad, no, she sucks. She does this to us. She does this to us. He literally goes, well, she's better than your old mom. I'm just like, yep, and she's better than the devil. Stop that. No. You use it all the time. You're right, Dad. She's better than my last mom, and she's better mom than the devil. You're correct. Congratulations. But all those... I'm not trying to say these to vent them. Those are the nuances. Those are the things that shape us. I was constantly invalidated. I was constantly being lied to and manipulated, teased, bullied by... I was bullied by my own dad. Like, literally. They thought it was a game. Like, I'd be sitting there drawing, doing my stuff. Adam, come here. Fine. I get up, I do something. What? Okay, fine. I go do it. I go sit back down. He waits literally 5 minutes. Adam, come here. Okay. I get up. Yeah. Well, nothing. I was just calling you. I'm just like, you guys think it's a fucking game? Like, I'm not allowed to have me time. I was never allowed to have me time. I was never allowed to be myself. Like, just go back through your head. I know it's unpleasant. It's super fucking unpleasant. You don't think I'm enjoying this, right? You know? I had a breakdown this morning. I sat in the bathroom. So, it's a lot of the reason why people don't want to change. It's because it hurts. Change hurts. It really does. So a lot of the people say they're comfortable and convince themselves they're happy because change hurts. My little sister's the same way. I'm not gonna trash her. Again, people are doing their own thing, but she's dating someone who's just like Dad. She's looking for fatherly love. And that's fine. Everyone does that. I'm not trying to blame her. But I'm seeing these patterns. I'm seeing these. Why did I bring up my younger sister? I don't know. Either way, you can even see them in your family members too. And be like, why is my family the way they are? Even if you don't want to self-analyze. Oh, that's what it was. So my sister works at a specific job that she believes is her calling. She works with animals. She wanted to be a veterinarian, but since she couldn't, she settled. Now she works and trains dogs. However, she works 70 to 80 hours a week. She's not happy. I can see it in her face. She's convinced herself she's happy, but she's not happy. What she's convinced is comfortable is happy. She is comfortable and she is safe, therefore she is happy. But she is not. So if you truly want things to change in your life, start with home. Here's the final cap. If you don't have a place that feels like home, make one. That was one of the biggest things. For me, specifically. I never felt like I had a home. Even in my own family, I felt like I didn't belong. They bullied me, they talked shit about me, like, you know, I would hear them talking out in the living room at night, talking about me, thinking I was asleep. I never felt like I even belonged in my own family. And these are all things, like I said, that affect me now. No matter where I go, I don't feel like I belong. So, you can literally dissect maybe 90 to 100%, 90%. Because beyond that, there are other things that do cement. Why did I say come on? Cements. It cements the experiences. Or sometimes you do just meet people who are just people. They're not even reflections of the old past. It could just be something from like a past life. So even if it's not from this family, it could also be a lesson from a past life, and that's a whole other story. So it doesn't mean everything is a reflection of your family. It's not always true. Because then you become hyper-vigilant, like I've been, and be like, oh, this person's red flag, this person's red flag, this person triggers this. I gotta be alone. Which is another trauma. We're just gonna untangle this big old spaghetti ball mess of emotions here. That's why a lot of people forget their childhood. It was so painful, we don't want to remember. We block it out. It's horrible. Like I said, it feels horrible. I will be sitting here just doing my thing. All of a sudden, something triggers a memory from my past, and I sit there and I analyze it and I wonder, and then all of a sudden, like I said, I'm in a bathroom crying because I was abandoned as a child. I mean, who knows, you know? It's not fun. That's why nobody wants to do it. But here's the thing. Just like eating your vegetables is good for you, feeling these emotions are good for you too. Because I've had so much pent-up anger, emotions. I just mainly specify anger because there's a lot of anger. Being invalidated for years and years and years and being told you're basically not a person. It's gonna be a lot of anger. So now as an adult, I'm on the fence of, I don't want to be angry because I know anger is kind of pointless, but oh good fucking God, I gotta get this out. So, even a good home life still changes people in the way they don't understand. You don't have to have a bad life. Because I remember I was friends with a pastor's kid years and years, like 10, 15 years ago. We got really close with this church because it was during the divorce, right after the divorce. My dad became very close with the pastor, like they became friends, they would go out to dinner. We've been over to their house, like we know their family, we know their kids, and I would constantly hang out with their kid. This family was perfect. He was patient, he was a patient man. His wife was a patient woman. They were ever so loving, like it was a hallmark definition of what you believe would be a perfect family on the outside. Of course, nobody's perfect. Everyone has issues and shadows and skeletons in the closet. But I never once saw that man yell. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I wish I had this family. And sure, the kids were a little more well-adjusted and a little more able to function in society. But it never meets their expectations. The pastor's kid found out he was gay. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But for a pastor, they're just kind of like, you know, I teach Christianity. They kind of goes against my religion there. And he, of course, had to stop and think and be like, what did I do wrong? Even the pastor's like, did I do something wrong, you know? Did I, you know? So it doesn't even have to be a bad family, a bad situation. It's just whatever family you're in. It is simply, I'm not saying it's good or bad. It is simply a reflection of who you are. I'm just using the bad example because I believe I had a rough childhood like a lot of people. Now I think I'm done. I can feel the emotional release, whether it's mine or whether it's yours. And kind of like BoJack Horseman, or you see it all the time, consistency is the issue. Because then once you discover the patterns, it's not enough. You have to be consistent. Even after I've discovered the pattern of, oh, I'm trying to find love in all the wrong ways, you still have to unlearn the pattern. You still have to reprogram your brain, so that's why I've still been trying to date and ask people out and do stuff, because there's still fragments of the pattern. I've noticed every time I go for a woman or a lady I'm interested in, they're a little less like my mom. I'm able to determine a lot faster, this person is not for me, or I'm able to be like, okay, this is an improvement. This person actually got closer. Like this time I was closer to a relationship. Now, just because I backpedaled a couple of times doesn't mean I lost progress, but I am discovering by the people that are coming into my life now that my patterns are changing. I'm changing. It's consistency, showing up every day. Learning the patterns and then breaking the patterns. That's why nobody wants change. Because it hurts. A lot. But what people don't understand is you have to feel that hurt. Let it hurt. Give yourself permission to hurt. I've tried for years tucking away negative emotions when no emotions are really negative, actually. We describe them as negative emotions, but energy is neutral. Emotions are neutral. Whether you believe it or not. We feel like depression is negative, but it needs to be expressed. We feel like sadness is negative because of how it makes us feel, but it needs to be expressed. Give yourself permission to be a human and express this. Give yourself permission to be sad. To feel the feelings on top of it. Because, like, for instance, whenever I see an injustice, I always had that, any child who had an older or a younger sibling always felt like it was an unbalance of justice. This person always got more, this person gets more attention or more love, and they always get the better stuff just because they're older. And I was the younger kid, I got all the hand-me-downs. I didn't get new stuff. She did. She got all the new stuff, Stuff like that. And that anger sits in you, and sits and boils and festers, even like 20 years later. That's why people have emotional outbursts like, fuck you, Dad. It's like, my name is Steve, and I'm not even old enough to be your dad. It's like, where did that come from? That's the emotion slipping out. And then that's when we do things we regret. Hurt ourselves, make decisions we shouldn't, hurt others. Because the emotions come out sideways. Instead of being placed in that home I was telling you about, you make yourself a home. You make yourself a sacred space, a safe space where you can be yourself. Where you're allowed to express these things. Where you're allowed to say, you know what? Fuck you, Mom and Dad. You know what? You guys did the best you could, but holy shit. Now I have to go back and redo everything you guys didn't do. I'm allowed to be both frustrated at the same time as understanding. It's a thing. You can do that. It's okay. Because like I said, I get it. On the side of the fence, I understand. They're people. They also had pretty fucked up lives. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Their lives were pretty difficult. Which also made my life pretty difficult. But that also doesn't excuse it. I'm still allowed to be angry at what they do. At the actions they take. Why? Because their patterns never change. Even now, my dad is still the same. I do not talk to him. I will not. And my sister hates me for it. Because she's also bought into some form of entitlement, like he's entitled for me to be in his life. The dude abused me, the dude screamed at me, the dude bullied me, the dude lied to me. And he just can't understand. You know? He just can't understand. And that's why change is painful. I'm not becoming better than my family, I'm outgrowing them. You constantly outgrow people around you. And it feels terrible. Because then you feel weird, and you're like, I'm not like them anymore. I'm healing. I'm working on myself, and these people aren't. And it alienates you. It makes you feel even more broken, ironically. Healing yourself makes you feel more broken. Because then you see, I've got all these issues, and I'm working on them. And I see some issues in other people, but I'm not going to call them out, right? Because I see the issues within me, and then I see the issues with them. But then they treat you like a psycho because you're working on yourself. Because you're able to do these things that they can't do. It's 50-50. There's some people who are like, oh my god, that's so cool. Someone who's working on themselves. The other side of it is, why is he so happy? Why does he get to work on himself? Why does he get to be free? It's not easy, alright? Growing and changing is literally the hardest thing to do. And that is why nobody grows and changes. I have met 40, 50-year-old people like my stepmom, who's still mentally in high school. She is 50 years old. And when she talks about high school, she says we. We were always, it's like, yo, that was like 30 years ago. Oh, cool. Wow. My northerner just popped out there. Oh, don't you know, I was born up in the Northeast, and I always used to talk like that. No, not really. I wasn't there that long. I was only there till I was about 12. 11, 12, that's actually when the divorce happened. Anyways. Shortly after we moved to Texas. God, why did my Canadian come out? Minnesota, eh? Don't you know? I lost my train of thought with my Canadian accent. Chugga, ooh, ooh. It's not easy. Alright. Do know this. Just as a little extra reminder, you are strong enough to do this. I know it doesn't feel like it, because to me it feels almost like I've become a sociopath. It's like breaking bones just to watch them heal. Kind of. That's a bad analogy, but it sort of is. That's what it feels like. Because every time you go deeper, essentially what you have to do, it's just like cracking a dome. You've got barriers and borders and guards, walls up on your heart, on yourself. Things that we prevent ourselves from seeing because we don't want to experience the pain. You crack open those walls and it hurts. And it sucks. And you become vulnerable and... But... So it feels like you're breaking. Every time. Like I said, I do have breakdowns. And my family used to teach me that's not okay. You're not allowed to explode. You're not allowed to express emotion. So now I'm at a point where, like, I will have to go sit in my car and punch the shit out of it for like 30 minutes until my hand stops hurting or hurts too much. Or I will sit there and I will just cry and just be here, giving myself that space. And then literally, once I'm done crying, put on my work uniform and I go straight to work. Like I said, it's not easy. So for those who are out there working on themselves, I love you. Oh, I felt weird. I felt really weird. You guys are strong enough to do this. You really are. Or else we wouldn't have made it this long. Believe it or not, people take it for granted. Surviving every day, that's just a fucking miracle in and of itself. When there's so many things around us that just causes pain and negativity, we get confused and lost and realize we're allowing it to make us feel that way. But we have to feel it either way, and sometimes it just feels too much. Every time I hit a new low, I was like, wow, this really hurts. And then I hit another one. I'm just like, God damn, I feel even worse than I did before. But after that good little crying fit or the anger fit, all the emotions come out. Give yourself that rest, that space to process, and you actually feel a lot better. Sure, it stings a little bit, but all right, I'm done now. Let's wrap this up. You are loved. You are protected. Please don't give up. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim, swim. Why? Because that's all we know. However, and I also wanted to bring this up, this was completely relevant to one of the messages. Albert Einstein says, you tell a fish to climb a tree and then judge it and call it stupid because it can't. I'm just going to leave you with that. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a rest. Give yourself some slack. And stop calling yourself stupid. The reason we struggle so much is because we are all completely ignorant. Nobody has any fucking clue what they're doing on this planet. And if you do, you're a fucking liar. We have no idea. I get humbled every single day almost. There are times where it's like, yeah, I just had an epiphany and I just grew and I'm wiser and I'm smarter and I'm awesome, and then the next day I get my ass humbled all over again. I'm just like, I don't know shit. So, we are completely ignorant, and that is not a bad thing. Ignorance simply means we just don't know. And how do you know what we're not taught? You don't. If we're not taught how to do it, we don't fucking know it. Because then it becomes on us, and we have to learn how to do it ourselves. Okay, I'm done. I said I'm done like 3 times, but we're done. I'm just...